Hey guys, I just got back from another Craigslist expedition. Now, I've already got one of these, and the one I've got is in better condition. And I don't know where I'm going to put this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it was less than 5 miles away, and it was 20 bucks. So how could I refuse? It's worth it just for the knobs. Especially that channel selector. So what this is an RCA 721 TS. One of, perhaps their only tabletop model from 1947. It's basically the RCA 621 TS with a 10-inch picture tube instead of a 7-inch picture tube and some slight circuit changes. Alright, so I got help getting this into my car, but I don't have help to get it out of my car right now, and I know these things are pretty darn heavy, but I will see what I can do. Now the seller said that he had powered it up and he got some sound. So I'm inclined to try powering it up myself. And I got a pretty good suspicion of what might have happened when either he powered it up or just over time, is these have a bleeder resistor network, power resistors in the power supply, and those electrolytics, I'm sure, were very leaky, and either when he powered it up or at some point in the past, the excessive current burned out those bleeder resistors, I bet. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my best guess at this point. As far as condition goes, this is why I say I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Even if pitch tube's good and the circuit's good and it's perfectly restorable, cabinet's a little rough. Well, maybe more than a little rough. That's not too bad. Definitely needs to be refinished. But a lot of veneer separation and some veneer loss. This whole back edge almost tore off when we put it in the car, actually. But, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'll get this out of the car, or try to, and take a closer look inside. Alright, I got it out of the car, and it actually wasn't that bad. So either these aren't as heavy as I remember them being, or maybe I'm just in better shape these days. Regardless, here it is. And now you can see this veneer separation is worse than I thought, because it's not just the veneer, it's the underlying plywood too. And I caused a little bit more damage myself when getting it out. Just got caught on my shirt and tore some more off. But that's all. It's all patchable. Inject some glue, clamp it down, glue the veneer down, refinish it. I suppose the cabinet's perfectly salvageable. Oh, and if you're wondering what is it sitting on top of, yes, this is a color roundy TV. First one I ever had in my possession. However, I have no intention of restoring it. In fact, I really had thought I would have scrapped this out by now. It's been too hot and I've been too busy, haven't gotten around to it. Or I was hoping that somebody would be interested in taking this off of my hands. I posted about it on video camera but didn't get any bites. As you can see, the picture tube is busted. It's got some damage. And it's a later model roundy. I think one of the last, like maybe a 63, 64, something like that. So if you're interested, I'll post a link in the video camera thread. If anybody wants this, they need to pick this up ASAP, or it is going to be parted out. Anyways, I'm back to this guy. So now we can see in the back. Speaking of backs, does not have the original back. It's gone, but there are reproductions. In fact, I think I got a reproduction for my other 721, which is also missing its back. And here is the power cord, which may very well be original, or at least the original plug. Hard to say. Well, maybe not so hard to say. I mean, that sure looks like the original interlock. It hasn't been replaced, and this sure looks like an old cord. The plug may have been replaced, but this is definitely an old style plug. Never really having seen a whole lot of RCAs with their original plugs, it's hard for me to say. It's certainly a very old style plug. In fact, actually it looks a bit too old. So it's more like a 30s radio than a late 40s TV. Alright, so right away we can see we've got a lovely, lovely cadmium corrosion. I think when it's especially yellow, it's actually cadmium sulfide rather than cadmium oxide. I remember I got an Admiral from Whiting, Indiana, which is near, really, well, there are some refineries right in Whiting. I think there's a lot of sulfur in the air, and that thing was super bright yellow with the cadmium corrosion. Otherwise, looks to be very intact. I asked the guy where he got it, and I believe he said it was from his wife's father. Had been the original owner, and it's been in the family ever since. He had it on Craigslist for a while. Originally, I think listed it at 80, and just kept dropping it and dropping it. When I was tipped off, it was actually at 40, and then he relisted it at 20, and I figured, well, I just have to get it, if for nothing else than for some spare parts. So, like I said, he powered it up and said tubes lit up, and he got some sound. Doesn't look like the picture tube is broken, so there's certainly a chance it's good. It's an RCA. Could very well be the original. All the original tags seem to be here. Serial number 71,622. I'm not sure what my other one is. Alright, well, I'll get out my CRT tester. I'm not going to bring this inside right now. I just don't have anywhere to put it. So I think the safest place to put it right now is right where it's at. And hey, maybe I will try a little power up just for the heck of it. Maybe I'll bring my Sencor PR57 out here. I'll offer some circuit breaker and fuse protection. Let me see how much current is drawing and do a little bit of slow power up. And hey, who knows? Maybe we can coax a little life out of it. Somehow I don't think we will, but well, other than maybe the sound as he had described. In here is where I suspect those bleeder resistors have gone open. I'll grab a 1/4-inch socket. We can take a look inside there too. First up, I want to test the CRT, and it seemed only fitting that I test an RCA TV with an RCA tester, so I pulled out my WT509. Alright, so we read the line voltage. It's about 120. Get a cal here, get about 121. Alright, and so we have filament glue. Excellent. The seller told me that that filament was glowing, and indeed he is correct. So now we check for leakage. Very good. Check for G1 leakage. Also, excellent. New leakage. Now we do cut off. And excellent. It's responding with the knob. Supposed to believe it's 2 ticks on the meter. And then check emissions. And hey, we're into the green. Alright. Not super far, but into the green. I'll let this sit a little while and see if it goes up anymore. Yep, after just 5 minutes, the needle has climbed up quite a bit further into the green, and I suspect it will keep climbing, so I don't think we have any issues with the picture tube. Now, I wanted to take this cover off, check the bleeder resistors, but I don't think I can because there's screws on both sides, and well, maybe if I get a socket I can get a right angle socket wrench in there and get those off. I'll give that a whirl. Otherwise, you got to pull the chassis out of the cabinet to really get in there. Not even my ratchet socket can't get in there. Yeah, I could fill it out along those pliers or something, but you know, I'll just save that for another day. Because eventually I do want to pull out this whole chassis and go over it. Meanwhile, emissions continue to climb, almost up till 10 now. And I have pulled out my PR57, so I am going to go ahead and try to do a little power up on this set. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, but I know the seller has already had the set on, and the PR57 has both a fuse and a circuit breaker to protect the set. So what I'm going to do is turn the set on, and I got the PR57 off, so I'll use this power switch here, and we can monitor the current draw going to the 4 amp range. So that'll be the scale down here, and here we go. Actually, yeah, all the tube filaments are lit up. You can see the 5V4 rectifier right there. It's not blue plating or sparking or anything. You can see, I think it's a horizontal output tube right here. It's not blue or red plating, I don't think. Nope. Current draw stayed steady, which makes me think there's no B+ going to the set, or not full, because normally you turn it on, surge as the tube filaments are cold, draws a lot of current, settles down a bit, and then as the rectifier warms up and the tubes warm up and start drawing current, the needle will start moving up. Also just noticed, no, that tube's lit, it's just rather dim. So yeah, I don't think this is getting any B+. There is a bit of hum out of speaker though, so there must be at least power going to some circuits. Oh, it does respond to the tuner too. Huh. And we have reception. About that. Well, let's crank the brightness up. Yeah, brightness is up all the way. Alright. Well, I didn't smell any ozone. I didn't feel. You can kind of sense when the high voltage oscillator or horizontal oscillator and high voltage are kicking. You can almost kind of feel and smell the ozone and all that, and I didn't get any of that. But hey. Alright, it's definitely a restoration candidate. And this behavior is common to both radios and TVs that are all tube, meaning they have a tube rectifier as well. So it's a simple little troubleshooting tip. So current goes up, comes back down a bit, and then goes up even higher. So surge, down, warm up. And it should start going up as the tube starts, and there we go. But not as much as I would suspect. That's why I really don't think the set's drawing full power. Alright, so I think this set is most definitely a restoration candidate. And what I think I'll do, since I basically am unemployed, I don't know when I won't be, is to start focusing on sets that I'd like to sell, like duplicate sets like this one. So I think what I plan on doing is I will restore it to the best of my abilities and then sell it. I hope you enjoyed this preliminary look at an RCA 721 10-inch tabletop black and white set from 1947. Oh, what the heck, let's keep this video going a bit longer. Here is my other 721 I mentioned earlier. I'd done a video or two on this before. It came with a dud CRT that's been replaced. I took a look inside of it. Everything looks to be in good shape, but it has not been restored yet. It's got the original finish, which is in pretty good shape. I'm hoping I can just touch it up and retain it. But what I really want to look at before we say goodbye is service info. I actually have the original owner's manual and service info. Let's see if that's... I'll take a look at the power supply and see if what I said is actually true. I was curious, walnut or mahogany? I think that's walnut. I think the other one is too, but could be wrong on that. Let's see. Schematic for this. I like this too. They include a wiring diagram. It's pretty old school. You typically just see this for early radios. It gets a bit crazy when you're talking about a TV to show all the wiring. Alright, so power supply 5U4. You see the center tap is not grounded. It's used for some negative voltages. It's got both negative and positive voltages. So here is that big leader chain. So we got R153, R154, A, B, C, R196, oh, and R153 sections A and B. So for example, if this section was burned out, we get 150 going to some circuitry. Like I see the IF uses that. 150 going to the sound stuff. And the audio output does use a plus 225 and minus 14. So perhaps it really is just an issue of the horizontal oscillator isn't running. I was thinking if the 225 was out, but the 150 was intact, maybe the set would work. But no, I can see there's definitely some sections of the sound and the tuner that use 225. And perhaps the minus 85 is out. Although no, that comes right off the center tap, so who knows? Who knows? But hopefully we will answer that question one of these days soon. Now, if you like these videos where I take an initial look at a new TV discovery, well, you may be in luck, because I heard from a friend on the East Coast who's been holding some TVs for me for quite some time that he might be in town next weekend and he will drop them off. And one of them in particular I'm excited to get because it is one of the sets on my bucket list. But for now, that's going to be it for this look at an RCA 721TS.